Why you do it, Beenie? Beenie, why you do it?
This is Yellowman, King of Dancehall. Only Bob Marley do this.
Welcome to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. Listen, again from the start, anybody but Beenie Man. Yellowman is not pleased that fellow DJ made Zungu or remade his Zungu 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 Zeng song. That word is so long and so funny. It's funny to see people try to read it or pronounce it when they have no knowledge of the song. Zungu Zungu go Zungu Zeng. Zungu Zungu go Zungu Zeng. That song? Alright, so apparently this is what happened. One of the songs that veteran dancehall artist Yellowman used to cement his place in the dancehall was the classic Zungu Zungu Go Zungu Zeng, which critics say helped to establish him as the king of dancehall. Yellowman, the king of dancehall. We're going to talk about all that. We're also going to talk about what was said by Yellowman about Beenie Man. Now, in an interesting twist, the song has been updated by dancehall kingpin Beenie Man, who challenged Yellowman for the kingship of the genre and who even released a song that was titled King of Dancehall in 2004. This was Beenie Man staking his claim to dancehall. Fast forward today, you have Vybz Kartel, and of course, every now and then, him and Beenie Man go at it as far as who is the king, right? Beenie Man's Zungu 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 Zeng was released Friday. That was just a few days ago. The Yellowman admits that he would have preferred if anybody but Beenie Man had touched his song. He says that he and Beenie have been practicing social distancing for years. Now, this was so shady, the way he said that, you know. We've been practicing social distancing for years. I would have preferred if anybody in the world, that means that the man say he don't even care if it's a little youth from down in Africa when named Zoom Boom Boom, who is just getting his musical career started. He would have preferred for Zoom Boom Boom to actually remake Zungu 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 Zeng, and he would respect it more than to have Beenie Man do it. Now, people are saying, oh my God, here we go. Why? Why would Yellow be so offended? Others are saying, why would Beenie Man make over the man song without contacting the man to find out if he has the right or the approval to do so? We're going to talk about all that. Beenie Man Zungu 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 Zeng was released recently, right? And he Yellowman says, him no approve of it. Now, I wish somebody else did do Zungu 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 Zeng. Check this out. Yellowman said, maybe Shaggy or Sean Paul. And this is what he told to the Star, as we're taking it directly from the Star right now. Here are Yellowman's quote-unquote words. Me not even hear it. Is a friend from England text me and tell me about it. Me have a saying, you always have a common mango trying to be an East Indian. What kind of a comment is that? Now, people, sidetrack for a little bit. You gotta understand this. That comment could be taken way out of context by some people who like to exercise ignorance. You understand? You must remember that Yellowman is a black man. Yellowman is only not melanated. He is an albino black man. But if you're looking at him from a distance, you would have said, is a white man that, right? Because his pigmentation. Now, with that said, for him to say this comment right here, me have a saying, you always have a common mango trying to be an East Indian. I don't know, Yellow. I don't know. I mean, there are enough people out there that like common mango and prefer common mango over the East Indian mango, Yellowman. Now, Yellowman, whose given name is Winston Foster, he was the first dancehall artist to sign with a major US label, which is Columbia Records, and that was done in 1981. His first album, Mr. Yellowman, was released in 1982, followed by 1983, his big mega instant hit, Zungu 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 Zeng. He was subsequently crowned King of Dancehall by the people and has embraced the title ever since. Now, if you go look up Zungu 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 Zeng on YouTube, it has over 10 million views and counting, with hundreds and hundreds of comments of people from all over the world are saying they're still vibing to this song today, even in 2020, I know, right? So it was a huge song. And make no mistake about it, Yellowman is still very active. Yellowman is still constantly touring. Well, I mean, under the COVID conditions and the lockdown, he is locked down like everybody else with limited movement. But before this and after this passes, I'm sure he will be right back at it. For those of you who outgrew or you are not off that genre, so you wouldn't know where Yellowman been going on with. He was subsequently crowned King of the Dancehall by the people and has embraced the title ever since. Now, people are saying this, listen, and I'm going to give my personal opinion on this one. He has embraced the title ever since, but it seems like Yellow is holding on to the title and believing that he is the current reigning king of dancehall. Now, people, you must understand that there is a throne, and on that throne sits a king. That throne never goes away. The kings change out over time on that throne. In my personal opinion, the reigning king of dancehall music right now, and for a while now, the undisputed heavyweight champion is none other than Vybz Kartel. And whether you like him or not, you cannot deny that, right? The greats like Bounty Killer and others, Buju Banton and others have said it. So that is what it is. Not to mention, the people of dancehall have said it, and that is that. So, Yellowman now, Yellowman says, look at it now. Bob Marley is the king of reggae. Michael Jackson is the king of pop. James Brown is the king of soul. Elvis Presley is the king of rock and roll. And nobody not challenging that. It's only in dancehall you hear them disputing this thing. Kartel say him is king of dancehall and put out an album with that title, Yellowman said. According to Yellowman, he and Beenie Man, they don't even acknowledge each other when they happen to be performing on the same show. Of course, there are going to be a lot of people that are going to say, come on now, you're too old for that. Big grown men need to be setting an example. What do you mean you don't even acknowledge each other when y'all are performing on the same show, about to perform on the same stage in front of the same crowd, and y'all don't even acknowledge each other? You know, unity is our real strength, but we cannot access that real strength until we unify. Now, could you imagine legends getting together, just like Bounty Killer and Beenie Man, legends like Beenie Man and Yellowman squashing whatever beef it is that they have had over the years and actually coming together and making music for the masses? That would be even more beautiful, but that is just me. But again, according to Yellowman, he and Beenie Man don't even acknowledge each other when they happen to be performing on the same stage. Me not deal with him. This is Yellowman words, you know. According to the publication, me not deal with him. It look like them want to start a rivalry with me. But I am not into those things to stain my career, he said. The veteran DJ, who has been chilling at home since the coronavirus pandemic put a pause on numerous overseas dates, says that he believes that Beenie Man chose the song because it is the most popular dancehall song in the world, and mentioned that the title is also a bestseller in his merchandise line. However, Beenie Man's manager, Rohan Blue Smith, told the Star that it was the producer, Jeremy Harding, who reached out to them to record the song. Now, in that instance, we don't know if that would suggest to me that Yellowman does not have the rights to that song. Because if he did, then that producer would have had to make contact with Yellowman and do it another way in order to get Beenie Man to be on that song. He would need the approval of Yellowman first. So, because Yellow doesn't have the rights to that song, then that producer is able to do whatever he wants to do to the song. However, Beenie Man manager said that it was the producer that reached out to them for Beenie to record on the song. He said that Beenie Man was asked, and him never hesitate to do it. It's not like him don't respect Yellowman, but maybe Yellow feel otherwise, Smith said. So you see, Zungu 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 Zeng, originally produced by Henry Junjo Laws, was released on VP Reggae Sound label in 1982. The Green Sleeve Records later released an LP of the same name. The new Beenie Man track is taken from Harding's upcoming dancehall anthems, a various artists collection of new recording of classic reggae and dancehall songs. And it features Sean Paul, Agent Sasco, Wayne Marshall, Kabaka Pyramid, and Royal Blue, among others, taking on material from Ken Booth, Dennis Brown, Garnet Silk, Foxy Brown, and Michigan and Smiley. Zungugu Zungu Zeng has been sampled by huge names in the international market of music, to include legends like Tupac Shakur, Queen Latifah, Buju Banton himself, Vybz Kartel, Junior Mafia, and many others. Alright, now, here's my thing. Beenie Man and Yellowman should have a sit down, squash whatever little beef them have, and unite together and do music together. We the people would appreciate it more, and not only that, it would be a very good look for dancehall music. Now, I'm not one to sit up here and to disrespect a legend, because Yellowman has really put in work and against great odds as well, being an albino and having other issues. As you can see, the way his face is shaped, figured, whatever you want to call it. So he has overcome obstacles, right? And he has become legendary. So I'm not one to sit and down his legend. But at the same time, correct me if I'm wrong, my SouFLoTV audience, dancehall music has changed. And I notice where he said in the interview that it is only in dancehall music that we hear this kind of disputing of this thing. He said, look at it now. Bob Marley is the king of reggae. We agree. But we also know that there's a difference between life and death. So there has to be somebody ruling. And this is one of the things that I have said that is a holdback for our culture as well. For instance, should we crown Buju Banton the king of reggae now while Buju is alive? Or should we rob him of that title and continue to say that Bob Marley, who has passed away since the 80s, is still the reigning king of reggae? Why can't we pass that title on to someone that is living, right? After all, kings rise up and then kings live and they rule and they reign, and like any other human being, they pass away. The throne is left vacant. Another king must fill that throne. The legacy must continue. So who is the king that is sitting on that throne? Or is the throne just empty because we are reserving it for the return of Robert Nesta Marley? He went on to say, Michael Jackson is the king of pop. I beg to differ. He was the king of pop while he was alive. James Brown is the king of soul. I beg to differ. He was the king of soul while he was alive. Elvis Presley is the king of rock and roll. I beg to differ. Elvis Presley stole a lot of black people music and used it, and we don't see him as the king of rock and roll because rock and roll belonged to black people and we have a different king for rock and roll. And nobody not challenging that, he said. Yes, Yellow, some of us are challenging that. Okay? Just like we are challenging your kingship, which you are a king, Yellowman. Yellowman is a king, right? He is one of the kings of the genre, but he is not the reigning king. You understand? There are quite a few kings, but who is the reigning king is the question. For some reason, I believe, say, Yellowman feel like, say, he is the reigning king, you know. Otherwise, he wouldn't have came up with stuff like Bob Marley are the king of reggae, Michael Jackson are the king of pop, James Brown are the king of soul, Elvis Presley are the king of rock and roll, and nobody is not challenging that. It's only in dancehall you hear them dispute this thing. Dancehall music has gone on. It has morphed into something that is very different from the dancehall music that existed 10, 20 years ago. Even more so 20 years ago. Even more so from the 80s. The sound has changed. The artist has changed. The style of dressing, fashion has changed. The language, the slangs have changed. Everything about dancehall has pretty much changed. It's revolutionary and it continues to change. And a new generation will come. And dancehall 20 years from today, 2020, will probably be looked at just like how today, 2020 dancehall look at dancehall from the 80s. It is for the archives, right? Nobody from the 80s can come talk about them a ruling, reigning king. Not unless you have been able to do like Vybz Kartel has done, which is constantly reinvent yourself and your style and remain relevant over time. Big up to Beenie Man for this, because for me, Beenie Man is definitely one of them that has maintained his position in top 5 in the genre of dancehall from way back in a them time there up until now. He may not be the reigning king in dancehall music in my eyes, but he is that in the eyes of many other people, and that is the reason why we still have that conversation today. With that said though, there's no way that Yellowman can believe, say, he is the current reigning king of dancehall music, unless he doesn't recognize dancehall music of today to actually be dancehall music. He lives in his own bubble. I mean, Yellow travels a lot. He plays a lot of concerts. I've seen quite a few of his concerts on YouTube, and I noticed that his audience is majority white people, even in places where there are a lot of black people there. You know what I'm saying? So maybe he went off into the land of reggae lullabies, where reggae and dancehall at one time was considered to be one thing. If you listen to the elders tell it, or even listen to somebody like Junior Gong Marley tell it, they will probably say something like, well, let's say dancehall used to be the building or is the place. The venue is dance hall. Anywhere dance a kip, that's dance hall. The music that is played inside there is called dancehall music or reggae dancehall music. So reggae has no differentiation from dancehall. It is all one music. You just have a different sounding part of it So you have what we call the dancehall now, and people have made a line and divided the music. I see it very different. I call reggae, like Bob Marley reggae, I call that type of reggae, reggae, right? I look at it like reggae is the well-behaved sister. And then dancehall, same mother, same father, but dancehall is the other sister who is just raw, unapologetic, say it like it is, braggadocious, all these things, right? So it's two different entities under one umbrella kind of thing. Anyway, that's not the dispute of the video. I just find it funny that Yellowman and Beenie Man don't have a good relationship. And for those of us who didn't really know it, we sure know it now. Because like he said, he and Beenie Man has been practicing social distancing for years. Years. He says, him not even hear the new song. I have heard the new song. I listened to the original, Zungu Zungu Zeng, Zungu 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 Zeng. I listened to the original from Yellowman, and then I listened to the remake from Beenie Man, and that is why I started this video off by saying, why you do it, Beenie? You know, they have a saying in Jamaica right now where them say, why you do it, Jankro? Jankro, why you do it? But I can't call Beenie Man no Jankro because Beenie Man is legendary and we're talking about Beenie Man. See, that's why I just say, why you do it, Beenie? In other words, then, that one that could have turned. It could have steal. Beenie, the remake of Zungu Zeng could have turned it. Now I give Beenie Man credit because all throughout the song he kept on saying, reminding us that King Yellowman, it even started off saying, now this one was performed by King Yellowman first. Now it's being performed by King Beenie. So he gave Yellowman his accolades and his recognitions in the song and all throughout the song. It's not like him Thief the Man song never mentioned the man name and acted as if it was his song and some new creation and we had to go dig it up and say, yo, wait, hold up. Somebody else sang that before. No, he let us know that it was Yellowman. But Yellowman is saying, I would have preferred anybody else in the world to do it except for Beenie Man. Surely those are not friendly words. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this one. It's SouFLoTV. Walk good, my people. I'm gone. Peace.